500 million people played a mobile game. They caught virtual creatures, explored neighborhoods, buildings inside and out, all for fun, right? What they didn't know is that they were training and building a centimeter accurate map of the entire world. And that map is now being sold to other companies, including defense contractors. That's just one story this week. We're actually going to tie together 3 different stories that all revolve around the same concept of visual training of systems that are being used potentially for other purposes. Okay, first story of the day is Pokémon Go. This is from the company Niantic. So many people played this game years ago. People playing with friends, people playing on their own, families playing together, adults and children, cousins, all getting together. They're walking around, they're holding their phone, they're pointing the camera at things, whether it's inside their own home, at a public gathering spot, public parks, landmark, you name it. People were walking around holding their cameras, pointing at you potentially. But you didn't think it was weird and creepy because you knew that they were just playing this fun game, capturing these characters that people know and love from these Pokemon games and Pokemon cards that they've had for years. The maker of Pokemon Go, Niantic, recently sold off the gaming division of their company to another player to continue to develop the games part of it. And now they have rebranded themselves as Niantic Spatial. They are focused on building these models and these visual representations of the world, accuracy down to the centimeter. What is it being used for? Well, let's first go into the MIT Technology Review. They're focusing on the nicer side of things, which are these delivery robots. So delivery robots that bring you your pizza, bring you your burrito, you're sitting up in your apartment, you're hungry, you order something, this robot shows up. And it was trained from Pokemon Go. That sounds really harmless. That sounds great for society. We have more accurate pizza delivery going on. Sure, that's all well and good. One of the difficulties is that inside urban landscapes, it's the worst place in the world for GPS. And that comes up a lot throughout these articles, that the global positioning system that uses satellites to figure out where robots can move depends on being able to see in, triangulating these satellites and seeing into these areas. Well, when you have lots of tall skyscrapers, it can be difficult to get that kind of accuracy. So they needed something better. They needed people who were walking around doing Google Street View type stuff with their phones. Lo and behold, that's what Pokemon Go was doing. Now, this is the nicer side of things. Let's go over to another journalist that covered it from a totally different angle. This is coming from The Rage, therage.co, and they focus on the fact that Niantic was actually founded by somebody who used to work for the State Department, the United States, and then went on to work for Google to build Google Earth, and then also did a startup that was funded by the CIA. So Niantic's Defense Origins, the founder, John Hanke, co-founder of Google Earth, former product lead of Google's Geo division, involved in a scandal. You can read up on that. Prior to founding Niantic, Hanke served as in the U.S. State Department and went on to develop a software called Keyhole, a project primarily funded by In-Q-Tel, the venture capital arm of the Central Intelligence Agency. It rendered 3D representations of Earth based on satellite imagery. So the satellite imagery, again, is coming down from up above. Would be great if we had high fidelity at the pedestrian level. And that's where Pokemon Go came in. So now there is evidence that Niantic has partnered with Vantr, which is a major U.S. defense contractor offering geospatial intelligence to National Geospatial Intelligence Agency within the Department of Defense, known as Department of War. So let's go over here. There's another source on this, Space News. Space News is a great site that I like to read. They go into more detail about this. But the main point is that you don't know what your data is going to be used for later on down the pipeline. So when you are giving over this sensitive information, just know that it might be used in other ways. Okay, that's the theme that we're going to go down. So now let's look into the latest. It's a class action lawsuit that's been proposed against Meta for their Ray-Ban glasses that they have. So they sell these glasses that have cameras on them and microphones. And they're meant to be this augmented reality device that you use. You walk around in your life. It can show notifications to you. It's also capturing all this data. Recently, it was discovered that workers at a contractor called Sama, this is a contractor that works for Meta to help them improve the product, review video footage. It's headquartered in Kenya. There was a report in February that showed really private and personal video footage was being viewed and scrutinized by employees within this contractor. A stream of privacy-sensitive data that is fed straight into the tech giant's systems. I saw a video where a man puts the glasses on his bedside table, leaves the room. Shortly afterwards, his wife comes in and changes her clothes. There are videos of people coming out of the bathroom, and much more. You can imagine when these glasses with video cameras on them are inside of a home, what kind of things might be caught. Employees are reviewing this data. Now, it's very likely that there are employees within Meta that are also reviewing this data. Just a corroborated article from TechCrunch that also goes into this. I want to point out another article from TechCrunch, and this has to do with the Ring cameras. You're noticing a theme here: cameras, video capture, image capture of private sensitive spaces. So Ring famously had a commercial during the Super Bowl, which is a sporting event in America that happens in February. And a lot of, many millions of dollars are poured into creating advertisements for this event. Ring had one that showed off how there are cameras all over your neighborhood. They can be used to help find your lost dog or something like that. The CEOs received a lot of scrutiny for this. The companies received a lot of scrutiny for this. Oh yeah, here we go. Camera footage to find lost dogs. They've since come out and said, okay, users do want to have some level of privacy. So what we're going to give them is they can turn on end-to-end encryption if they want to. So you can make your camera more privacy aware and privacy focused, so the company is not able to get all of your footage and see all your footage. However, if you enable end-to-end encryption, it's an opt-in feature, so the majority of users will not turn it on because it's opt-in. When you have something set as the default, most people end up with the default. The trade-off is steep. When you turn on end-to-end encryption, many features are disabled, including event timelines, rich notifications, quick replies, video access on ring.com, shared user access, AI video search, 24/7 video recording, pre-roll, snapshot capture, bird's eye view, person detection, AI video descriptions, video preview alerts, virtual security guard, and familiar faces, which is the face scanning technology, which requires processing in the cloud. So basically, you lose pretty much all of the Ring functionality that makes it really cool to use. So what the CEO is saying to you is you have to choose. You have to choose between cool functionality or privacy. You can't have both. This is where I come back to the product that we make is TryMaple.ai. It is focused on giving users a similar experience to ChatGPT, but is end-to-end encrypted. This is possible. You can give people really cool functionality, really cool usability, while also giving them privacy and end-to-end encryption. Ring is making you choose between the two. If Ring deployed technology like we're using, TEEs or trusted execution environments, then they too could provide really cool functionality while also preserving user privacy. So that's it for today. Those are 3 news stories that hopefully will pique your interest. Next time you're using some kind of app that uses your camera to capture footage and send it to a third party, make sure you know what kind of data you're sending. Check out the privacy policy and see what kind of things they can do with that data, because you never know when a company is going to pivot their business model and start using that data for different purposes. Thanks for watching. My name is Mark Suman. I'm a co-creator of something called Maple AI. You can go to trymaple.ai. Check out our private end-to-end encrypted confidential AI system that gives you similar tools to ChatGPT and Claude with full privacy and end-to-end encryption. Thanks, and make sure to keep checking back in. I'm going to keep posting videos like this to go over different AI news stories of the week.